All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on their Facebook, also on demand and streaming live on the Relevant app. That's RELEVNT, no A at the end. Some great content, very interactive chat rooms, including the Jaguars channel, and all your favorite teams represented on the Relevant app. Jags taking on the Colts up in Indianapolis. Both teams not off to great starts by any measure. And quite frankly, I think for both teams are probably a little disappointed and surprised they're not having better years. I mean, let's face it, the Colts, they thought replacing Carson Wentz with Matt Ryan would be a slam dunk. They thought their offensive line would be a strength. They thought Jonathan Taylor would be healthy and ready to roll, and you got enough weapons for Matt Ryan to throw to. And obviously, they haven't been very good, averaging 13.8 points a game, the Colts, under Matt Ryan. I would not have thought that. Not to say that I would think he'd be leading the league at all, but, better than 14 points a game. But it is what it is. And, of course, on the Jag side, I mean, you looked really good in week 2 against the Colts, especially swamping them, blitzing them 24-0. Out in Los Angeles Chargers, you looked really good then, too, beating them. That was a big surprise. We thought, this team has arrived. I think they thought so, too. Then you go up to Philly and get out-muscled. Obviously, your quarterback doesn't have a good day. And you chalk that up, the weather, blah, 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 which, had a little factor, but didn't seem to upset the Eagles at the time. But nonetheless, and then, last week against the Texans, it's a sure thing. You ever see that movie, The Sure Thing, with John Cusack, and he dreams of the girl, the blonde in the bikini? He's out on the East Coast, some Ivy League school, his best buddies, out in L.A., out on the beach. Got the sure thing all lined up for him. You just got to get out here and meet her, and it's a sure thing, slam dunk. Well, that doesn't always happen, does it? Not in the movies and not in real life. So, the Texans, credit, they beat us. Our defense played well up until a certain point. They didn't play well at the end. They didn't tackle well at the end. Nobody made a play at the end. Not a very good penalty by Trevon Walker at the end. But overall, you did what you had to do to expect your offense to score more than 6 freaking points. I mean, red zone woes. Saw it last night with Justin Fields. Moves the ball up and down. Had a pretty good night overall. Missed a few that you got to make. We know that record here in Jacksonville. But you got to get points in the red zone, and you got to get more than 3. The touchdowns are the key, so we need more of that. But look, this is going to be a big test. And before you get your panties in a wad, the 2 games that they have won, I picked them to lose. So, hopefully that's a good thing. But I don't feel good about this game. I just don't. I think I don't know. There's something missing with this team here in Jacksonville, and I really can't figure it out. You got, some units play really well, and then they don't play well, and some units like, your O-line. Look at your O-line last week. They were fine. They were great. Good enough to win. Kept that quarterback clean. Week before, not so much, right? Overall, they've been better as a unit, but, and they were better last week. So, great. You would think the offense would be better. My offensive line is better. Travis Etienne had a breakout game. Man, our offense should be better. Got everybody healthy for the most part. Wow, our offense should be better. But it wasn't better. It was putrid. And a lot has to do with our quarterback. And again, I said it Tuesday. I'll say it again. Don't label him anything. Okay? Can we just stop with the labels? Labels are stupid anyway. I don't care that he's the first pick of the draft. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter to me. And I know the pundits out there, I know they got a job. They're like, no, it matters. You got to scorn the league, scorn that organization for taking him number 1 overall. Well, let's be honest. Everybody would have taken him number 1. Everybody, whatever team. If the Jags didn't, the next team in line would have or traded up for him. So everybody would have picked. They said he was can't miss. Hey, look, there's no such thing, I don't think, as can't miss. At least when you go from college to the NFL, it's a much different game. I spoke to Sean Salisbury on the Relevant app earlier in the week. It was Wednesday night on the Jaguars channel, just for about 15 minutes. Former quarterback. He's got his own show out in Houston, very big in the NFL world with analyzing and does train quarterbacks. And he said to me, it made a lot of sense. He's like, look, I've watched pretty much every one of Trevor's throws, which I have not, a disclaimer, but he has. And he says, when you think about playing quarterback, you're at your best when your feet are underneath you, right? He equated it to boxing, and I love boxing. I do the boxing work, and I've been taught how to do that stuff. And he's right. Your feet always have to be underneath you to have maximum power and maximum performance. He's seeing Trevor taking too long of a stride with that front foot, which changes the trajectory of the throw and where it starts at. Think about it. If he's nice and tall, throwing it from here as opposed to nice and tall and then stretching out and throwing it a little bit lower could mess up with that accuracy. Look, I'm not going to offer excuses for any quarterback in the National Football League that's a starting quarterback who's got guys open and doesn't hit them. That's like quarterbacking 101. There's no free pass. I don't want to hear. And by the way, it's his rookie year. It's not. It's not. Stop saying that. He's played plenty of football to not say that this is his rookie year. I don't give a crap about the coach last year. The kid finished strong. He looked really good on the way out, especially against Indy at home. Had a great game at the end of the year. You expected what? More of that. You got some of it for 2 games. The other, no, not good enough. Fought back against Philly. I'm not going to say he doesn't have grit and all that, but, man, you got to make throws. You got to make completions. You got to see open guys. You got to know by now where you're at on the field, what down and distance it is, how much time I have left on the game clock, how much time I have left on the play, all that stuff. Like, you've seen it by now, right? So you should know who might be open in a certain defense that I see. You should know not to force a throw on second down in the red zone into the end zone when you got at least one more play. And we know Doug Peterson loves to go for it on 4th down. So you might have 2 plays there. You don't take off and, you know what I mean? It's awareness. So, no, he's seen enough football to sit there and say, okay, he should be aware of certain things. Not everything. I don't expect Trevor Lawrence or any young quarterback to know every single, disguise, whether it's a blitz, a fake blitz, a fake coverage, luring them into man. I often thought about, on offense, how do they figure out if the defense is in man to zone? They motion somebody, right? They motion them across. If somebody runs with that man, it's typically man. If they don't, it's typically zone. But why don't we just recount? You know what I mean? Think about that. So if I'm a defensive coordinator, okay, I'm lined up on number 3, and he goes. I want you to go with him, but all you're going to do is flop sides on the zone. We're not man. Let's make them think we're man. So I don't expect a young quarterback to know all that stuff. That's where the chess went. But I do expect him to hit an open receiver especially when he has time. There's no sailing footballs. You know what I mean? That's like a horse that can't get it together. This kid's, and by the way, he's got all the tools. There's no doubt. But you got to hit the open receiver. You got to. That's 101. You don't get extra credit. You don't. That's like your job description. I've got to complete passes to guys that are open, especially when nobody's in my face. And I got time to do so. Again, I don't care that he's drafted 1 overall. This generation talent's a bunch of bourgeois. Get rid of it. It's not fair to the kid, and he's not that, so that's fine. He doesn't have to be, in my opinion. I don't care if he ends up being like Andrew Luck. I don't care if he ends up being like Patrick Mahomes. I would love that, but he doesn't have to be that to win and to bring this city a championship. So, again, taking what's given. I just want for the record, he's not the only one that doesn't see open receivers. We see veterans miss it too, right? You look at Russell Wilson. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. He looks at one guy, he's not open. He doesn't look for the next guy who could be open. You got to see what's open. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I never played the position. But I know this. You've got to complete passes when they're there for you to complete. That's pitch and catch. That's not special. It's pitch and catch. Now, receivers, you got to hold on to the ball too. Okay? Okay, we'll give you a little. I mean, if we're going to give the quarterback a little trapdoor up in Philly, I guess we got to give the receivers a little trapdoor. Well, it was wet and rainy and windy. Whoop, open the trapdoor, jump down the chute. Wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to give him a little bit of that, but let's go, man. Too many drops. Now, look, I don't think this is a problem with Trevor, even on completions. The ball placement's not there consistently. Sometimes it is. I can't blanket statement that. But it's not where it needs to be, where my guy can make a play. If I'm running full speed across the formation and he throws it here or even here instead of here, does that make sense? Like that's what am I doing? Sometimes I got to stop in my route just to secure the catch, and boom, I get tackled right away, as opposed to what? Maybe not catching it at all, right? Or maybe you put it out in front, and man, not only do I catch it, but I'm turning upfield and making a play. So you want to call it accuracy. I'm not going to call it accuracy. Although maybe 5 years ago, we would think 62% is pretty damn accurate. Today, they're like 77%, which is just part of systematic football, right? They're part of a system. It's like Trevor's first, the 2 wins. It was great, but then teams figure out, we're not going to let him do that. We're not going to let him play pitch and catch. Let's put some pressure on this kid. And I don't mean just physically in the pocket. I mean out there in coverage. Let's make him think. Let's make him figure it out, right? Let's put it on him. If I'm a defensive coordinator facing the Jags, I'm shutting down the run, and I'm going to make that QB beat me. He has not proven that yet. He's not. Again, I don't care where he's drafted, but the reality is he has not been playing good football, especially the past couple weeks. Those 2 wins, he played fine. Played really good, actually. I think part of it was the game plan, but that's okay. That's the job of the coordinators. So, I heard Marvin Jones Jr. say after the game last week that, you can't, what did he say? He didn't say look past, take him lightly. You can't take anybody lightly. I mean, I don't know why you take anybody lightly. I don't know. I know I'm this, I don't know. I just look at things different sometimes. You know what I mean? I made a comment at the end of Jaguars today. It was partially a joke, but most truths are said in jest, right? And the keys to victory, my first one. So I'm sitting there in the fourth quarter with friends Tracy and Scott, friends of ours. We're down in their club seats, and we're about 5 rows, 6 rows, 7 rows, something like that, up from the sideline of the Jags. And I love the seats because you get to see the sideline. I watch the sideline. I want to see what's going on. I want to see reactions from coaches, players, good plays, bad plays, what have you. I want to see it. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Tom, that's so frivolous. And it is to a certain degree. But one of my keys to victory, my first one on Jaguars today, was tie up the hair. Like, tie it up. I don't care what you do with it. But all you did on the sideline when I was watching, aside from the coaches, doing their thing, sitting you down and talking to you, you're roaming the sidelines. I mean, it's a little exaggeration, but it's true. I mean, I'm like Trevor, go find a tablet and figure some stuff out, And I know people are like, oh, Tom, that's so ridiculous. And it is, but it kind of isn't. I don't know. Get the hair out of the way. Forget about your hair for a Sunday. Anyway, it just means what? Forget about that and fix what's going on in the field. I don't care what my hair looks like. It's like those QBs that go bald. The minute they're off the field, oh, give me my bald cap. I got to have my bald cap so nobody can see my bald spot. Gives a crap. Throw a touchdown. Make your team win. Look, you got to put it on the QB to a certain degree. It's not all him. Okay? Trevon Walker doesn't make that bone. And it was dumb. There's no excuse. I don't care if he's he was frustrated. Travon Walker's going to be a good player. I think he came out gangbusters, and he's kind of tapered off a little bit, to be honest with you. And I think he's a little frustrated by that. I think that was a play out of frustration, an act out of frustration. Can't have that. It was a big part of the game. I'm not going to harp on the kid too long. And I don't care if they ripped his head off on the field, but somebody better make sure that that's unacceptable play. Patting him on the head saying it's okay, to me, no. But you don't rip him, fine. Find some common ground there. Got to be better all around. Now, look. On paper, we should beat them. We should beat them. I mean, you look at it, and we're not that impressive, to be honest with you. Some things are. You know, we're averaging 22.2 points a game. They average 13.8. We average on defense giving up 16 a game. They give up almost 19, 18.8. Do the math. We should win. We should win. Yards per carry, we do it 4.2. They give up 3.4. They rush 3.6. We give up 3.7. We should win that battle, right? We should. Third down. Well, we're pretty close on third down, although we're at almost 40, 39.5 to their 31.3, and they're 36 to our 37. So we should win that battle. Sacks. You know how many sacks the Colts have given up? 5 games. 21. That's not pressures. That's not hits. That's sacks. Remember the name, Bernard Raymond. He's their left tackle. He's a rookie. Attack him. Attack the left tackle. He can't block. And maybe he can eventually, but last outing, he was off. I'm surprised he's still starting, to be honest with you. Unless I don't have anybody else, I'd probably look at sitting his butt, because that was not a very good outing at all. So, turnover ratio. We're +1. We've given a lot up lately. They're -6. They've given up a lot. They're coming back a little bit. So on paper, we should win. Here's the problem with on paper. Last time on paper, they didn't have a lot of their good players. They didn't have Pittman Jr. They didn't have Alec Pierce. They didn't have Shaq Leonard. Those are major. Jonathan Taylor. It's funny. He rips off 2 long ones in the fourth quarter, so I'm not going to totally, I know you average it out, 9 for 54, 6 yards a carry. Do I sit there and say, well, he got 6 yards every pop? No, they bottled him up except for 2 runs. But you can't let those 2 runs happen at all. And you saw what Philly did with us, totally outmuscled us. We get Foley back, which is good for the Saki, which I met. Nice guy, big guy, wide, huge. He's got to be the force on that 3-4 nose tackle. Is Jonathan Taylor healthy? If you give Matt Ryan time, he'll make throws. So now, will he make the same throws he could make 5, 6, 7 years ago? No, maybe not, but he can make throws when guys are open. He can make throws when he's got time. So you got to give him that time. I don't have a good feeling about this game, and I think it's going to be a tight game. I do. I think it's going to be really tight. There's no blowout here by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't feel that good. And there's something missing in our team. There's something missing. Obviously, the quarterback's got some issues to work out. He's not the only problem. Receivers are still dropping balls. I mean, it's better this year, but Groundhog Day to the same extent. Your O-line's good at times, not good at times. Your D-line shuts down the run and then gets run on. You know what I mean? It's like, even last week against Houston. Okay, forget the penalty. Okay, regroup. Tackle. Make a play. Somebody make a play. You are a good defense. Without a doubt, you held them to, it was 6-6. I mean, you shut them down last week. But that last series wasn't good. Nobody made a play. Where's the play? Someone make a play. Where is it? So I don't know. Again, it's a process, I guess. Is it really fair? I don't know. Look, in our defense, the fans, we've been through so much. We want to win now. We don't have patience. I don't really have patience. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pound and be like, oh, this is me. No, I'm going to give them time. But at the same time, I don't have a lot of patience. I don't. You take Justin Fields last night. What a tough kid. And Trevor's tough, too. You can't take that away. But, I mean, the kid, if he makes those routine, the throws, especially the ones he's got to make, Put it on him. Same with Trevor. Earlier in the year, you got ETN swinging out. You got ETN doing a wheel ride. You got him open. You got to hit him. That's your job. You're starting quarterback in the National Football. You're not going to hit every single time. I get it. But even the best ones do miss. They do, but that can't be the norm. And too many times are we seeing that. So let's see what they can do. Look, last week, Gus Bradley said, okay, we'll keep everything in front. It didn't work out. They skunked us 24-0. It was 17-0 at half. Skunked it. Great play call, great design. Everything was great. But they're going to change. They're not going to do the same thing. They're probably going to squat a little bit, sit a little bit, not get so deep in their zone drops, play the guy that comes in a zone more like man than zone. In zone, you're just in space, and in zone man, you jump your guy that's in your zone, hopefully deep to short. But that's going to change. They're going to try to pound Jonathan Taylor. He's really good, no doubt. One of the best backs in the league when healthy. Don't give Matt Ryan time. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that they go up there and they don't stop the run, and Matt Ryan has time. Our offense, one thing that the Colts defense does do, they shut down the run. 3.4 yards a carry. They do. And last time out, aside from James Robinson, 30-plus yard to 37, something like that, he didn't do anything. And he still averaged 2.8 yards a carry, even after the long 37-yarder. So, they've got a good defense. And now they got a healthy DeForest Buckner and a healthy Shaq Leonard. Barch is out with the knee. I'm sorry to hear that, Ben. I like you. You're a good dude, and you're playing some good ball. Tyler Shatley's got to be the guard. I like him better as a center than a guard, but he's got to, get it done. But it's not going to be easy. And if you're going to put it all on the QB, which it seems like that's the deal, I don't think that's a recipe for victory. Doug says you got to throw to win. Okay. I believe in that, but I don't believe you put it all on a young QB and expect him to do it. I think you got to have a nice mix. And let's be honest here, when they've won against the Colts and the Chargers, it was a good mix. It wasn't thrown at 40-plus times. It was thrown about 30, 35. And you may say, well, Tom, that's not a big difference. Well, yeah, it is. It is a big difference. I'm not talking 3 or 4 more. I'm talking 7 to 10. Flip it. Nothing wrong with being pass first. Pass can set up the run, without a doubt. But you also got to adapt and improvise. And if the passing thing ain't working, because in theory it sounds great. Yeah, we throw to win, or we throw to score, and we run to win. Sounds awesome in theory. You know what I mean? But reality, that doesn't always work out. So, look, I think they can win this game. Should they? I'm not going to say that. I don't think they've shown that they should beat anybody. Excuse me. Somebody trying to interrupt me there. But yeah, look, I think they could win, but I don't think they're going to win. I think it's going to be 17-14 Colts. You probably are all hanging up on me now, but I'm sorry. I'm not just going to give them the benefit of the doubt when they haven't proven that they deserve the benefit of the doubt. And I shouldn't even say it, but I know within the organization, you got to watch what you say. It's fine. That's whatever. You got to protect the media. You got to protect your message. I get that. And I'm not sitting here ramming them or hammering them, but it's got to be better. And no, I'm not that confident in this team. I don't know which team we are. Which team are we? Trying hard, giving effort. There's no extra credit for that. I don't. You're in the National Football. It's a job. It's your profession. Because you try hard. Little Jimmy behaves in class. Well, little Jimmy's supposed to behave in class. Right? I remember my day, you come home and you'd be bitching about the teacher. You'd be like, all right, listen, all I know is this. I don't know one teacher in the history of the world that doesn't like a kid that keeps his mouth shut, doesn't act up in class, does his homework on time, and participates and does well. So it's on you. It's not the teacher. You know what I mean? But that's a little too old school. I get it. But that's how I was raised and how I raise my children as well, with a little bit of flexibility if you know what I mean. So I don't know what to expect. I hope they go up there and kick the living you-know-what out of them and come home with a victory. You got to win this game. You got to. I mean, now then you go to Denver, you go to London, right? And then you get into a thick of a pretty tough schedule. So let's get to 500 and give ourselves a chance. And then you're not back in it, but at least, look, you're 2-4. Like that match. Boom. I mean, you start losing confidence, the mojo, the whatever you want to call it. It's not there. Trevon Walker says Matt Ryan's like a sitting duck. Well, let's see it then, Trevon. Go get him. Go get him. Take him out of the game. I don't care. Hurt him. Don't hurt him for life or the season, but for the day, yeah, give him a little headache. I'm all for it. So what's it going to take to win? Well, we got to stop the run, and we got to get after Matt Ryan, and our offense has just got to produce. Hit the open guy. Take what they can give you. By the way, I'm going to call it. I said it on Tuesday, and I'll wrap it up with this. I want Trevor to get into some street ball, man. Get in a little bit. It's got to be structured. You got to have structure. There's no doubt. But I want to see him get into street ball. Be a player, man. Be like you were in college, like you were at times last year and at times this year. Go make a play. I don't care if it's with your arm. I don't care if it's with your feet or your legs. Just make a play. And understand where you're at in the game. You had another life down there in the red zone before you threw the pick. You got to know that. And I know you want to make that throw. We all want you to. We do. But they're great on the other side too, so they know. They know. You had a chance to run it, and you had a chance to throw it away. And you had 2 more downs after that. So, by the way, wait a minute. I'm not done. Gosh darn it. 4th down, which Doug loves to do, they're terrible on 4th down. Terrible. They give up 57% on 4th down. We only give up 32%. Their offense is 16.6% on 4th down. So they suck on 4th down, and we're good on 4th down. So maybe we win a few on 4th down and get it done. So hopefully that's the case. I hope they win. Let's go, Jags. LFG, exclamation point. This show brought to you by my friends at the Brustnutter Wealth Advisory Team, Ponte Vedra Beach, Goodfellas, Cigar Lounge and Spirits, right there on St. John's Bluff Road, and the Southern Grill down there on the South Bank. Hey, make sure you check them out this Sunday because they've got the NFL ticket, great food, a full liquor bar. They've got entertainment at night. It's a great place to watch a game. I watched the last away game, which was, what game was that? Philly? Yeah, I watched Philly from there. Packed place, people going crazy. It was great. What a great atmosphere. Check them out. 800 Flagler Avenue, right there on the South Bank, the Southern Grill. You won't regret eating there. That is for sure. So until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. I had to go home and take care of my ma. My ma's had an eye doctor appointment. Go pick her up in Mayo, take her shopping for a little bit. She needs some food, and then I'm going to hit the weekend hard, maybe get a workout in, and then hit the weekend hard. But hope you have a great weekend out there as well. Again, until next time, stay safe and be cool. We'll see you right here. I'm catching up with Tommy Mack. Peace.